My name is Isabella, and I'm 38 years old now. Looking back, I can't believe how naive I was when I first met him. I married without truly knowing the man behind the charming smile, and if I'd had even a glimpse of the truth, I would have run the other way. He seemed like the ideal partner, attentive, ambitious, and full of promises. But beneath it all, he was living a double life that shattered everything I held dear. Let me take you through it all, step by step, from that fateful night to the moment I finally chose myself. It all started at my cousin's engagement party. The venue was a beautiful garden estate on the outskirts of the city, adorned with twinkling fairy lights and blooming flowers. The air was alive with music, the clink of glasses, and the joyful chatter of guests celebrating love. I was there with a group of old friends, dressed in a flowing red gown that made me feel confident and alive. We were dancing under the stars, laughing about old times, when I noticed him across the lawn. He was standing by the bar, tall with broad shoulders, sharp features, and a neatly trimmed beard. His dark eyes kept drifting toward me, but he didn't approach. He just observed, sipping his drink, looking mysterious and intriguing. I caught his gaze a few times, and each time, a small smile played on his lips, but he stayed put, not joining the dance floor or mingling much. The party wound down, and I left without a word from him. But 2 days later, my phone buzzed with an unfamiliar number. "Hi, I saw you at the engagement party. You were the most captivating woman there. Can we chat?" My heart skipped a beat. I was flattered and curious. "Who is this?" I texted back. "The guy who couldn't take his eyes off you. My name is Victor. You looked stunning in that red dress." I hesitated, but his words sparked something in me. I was single in my late 20s and ready for something exciting. So I replied, "Sure, why not?" Our conversations flowed effortlessly from the start. Victor was 32, a successful marketing executive with a flair for storytelling. He texted me good morning every day, asked about my job as a graphic designer, and shared funny anecdotes from his travels. He was polite, witty, and made me feel special. "Isabella, you're not like anyone I've met," he'd say. "You have this spark that lights up my day." We texted nonstop for 3 days about our favorite movies, dream vacations, even our childhoods. On the 4th day, he dropped the bombshell. "I know this sounds crazy, but I want to marry you. I see us building a life together with kids and adventures. You're the one I've been waiting for." I stared at my phone in disbelief. We'd never even met in person beyond that glance at the party. "We barely know each other," I responded. "How can you be so sure?" His reply was swift. "Sometimes you just know. Trust me, I'll make you the happiest woman alive. Say yes and let's start our forever." I should have seen the red flags, the rush, the intensity, but I was swept up in the romance. My friends warned me it was too fast, but I convinced myself it was fate. We met for coffee the next day, and in person he was even more charismatic. Tall, with a confident stride and a voice that wrapped around me like a warm blanket. We dated intensely for a couple of weeks, dinners, walks in the park, stolen kisses. And then, just like that, I said yes. Our wedding was intimate, held in a quaint chapel by the sea. Only our closest family and a handful of friends attended. I wore an elegant lace gown that hugged my figure, and Victor looked dashing in a tailored navy suit. As we exchanged vows, with the ocean waves crashing in the background, I thought, this is it. I found my soulmate. The honeymoon phase was pure bliss. We moved into a spacious apartment in the city with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the skyline. Victor showered me with affection, surprise bouquets of roses, handwritten notes tucked into my lunch, weekend getaways to cozy cabins. He cooked elaborate dinners, whispering sweet nothings as we danced in the kitchen. "You're my everything, Isabella," he'd say, pulling me close. I quit my freelance gigs to focus on us, and soon we started a family. Our son, Lucas, arrived 2 years later, a lively boy with Victor's dark hair and my hazel eyes. He's 8 now, obsessed with building model airplanes and dreaming of becoming a pilot. 18 months after that, our daughter, Sophia, joined us. At 6, she's a whirlwind of energy, with curls that bounce as she twirls in her ballet skirts. For the first few years, life felt like a dream. Victor's career took off. He was promoted to director, traveling for conferences but always calling home. We hosted barbecues for neighbors, took family vacations to the beach, and built traditions like Sunday pancake mornings. I trusted him completely. He was the doting father, the supportive husband. But subtle cracks began to appear after about 3 years. It started innocently enough. I'd catch him glued to his phone, chuckling at messages late at night. "Work stuff," he'd say dismissively when I asked. He'd come home smelling faintly of perfume, not mine, and brush it off as a colleague's strong scent in the office. I pushed the doubts aside. After all, marriage has its ups and downs. But as months turned into years, his absences grew. "Late meetings," he'd explain, slipping in after midnight. He stopped initiating intimacy, and our conversations dwindled to logistics about the kids. His phone became a fortress, password protected, always face down. I tried to ignore it, focusing on Lucas and Sophia. I volunteered at their school, designed logos for local businesses from home, and kept our household running smoothly. But the nagging feeling persisted. One evening, while Victor was in the shower, his phone lit up with a notification. I glanced over, my heart pounding, and saw a preview. "Miss you already, my heart. Can't wait for tomorrow." My stomach dropped. I grabbed the phone, guessing his password from our anniversary date. It worked. What I found devastated me. Hundreds of messages with a woman named Carla. Romantic declarations. "You're the love of my life. I can't stop thinking about you." Photos of them together, kissing in a park, dining at fancy restaurants. He called her my queen, sent her virtual gifts, planned secret weekends. The timestamps went back years, before our wedding even. Carla was 45, 7 years older than Victor, with 2 teenage daughters and a son. She lived in the suburbs, not far from us. Her husband was a truck driver, often away for weeks. Victor had been funding her lifestyle, paying for her kids' extracurriculars, taking them to amusement parks, even helping with her mortgage. "You're better than my real family," one message from him read. I scrolled further. During our honeymoon, he'd texted her apologies for the delay in responding. While I was in labor with Sophia, he was arranging a rendezvous. Tears streamed down my face as the betrayal sank in. Carla wasn't some young fling. She was established, ordinary in appearance, but clearly held a piece of him I'd never touched. Why her? Why not me, the woman he'd vowed to cherish? When Victor emerged from the shower, I thrust the phone at him. "Explain this," I screamed, my voice breaking. He froze, his face paling. "Isabella, it's not what it looks like." But the evidence was irrefutable. He collapsed onto the couch, head in hands. "I'm so sorry. It was a mistake, a stupid, ongoing mistake. I love you and the kids. Please forgive me. I'll end it for good." The kids were asleep upstairs, oblivious. I spent that night in the guest room, sobbing into a pillow. How had I missed the signs? The late nights, the emotional distance, it all made sense now. Victor begged for days, bringing flowers, promising therapy, swearing he'd change. My family urged me to think of the children. Marriages have rough patches. For Luca's and Sophia's sake, try. Against my better judgment, I agreed to a second chance. We went to counseling. He deleted her number in front of me, changed his phone passcode to something I knew. For a while, things improved. He was home early, attentive, planning family outings. I tried to rebuild trust, but the scar ran deep. Every time his phone buzzed, paranoia gripped me. 3 months later, the cycle repeated. I found a hidden app on his phone with encrypted messages, more plans with Carla. I followed him one afternoon and saw them in a cafe, laughing like old lovers. He was still buying her gifts, still playing stepdad to her kids while neglecting ours. That evening, he came home with the same scripted apology. "I'm sorry, Isabella. You're an amazing wife and mother. My angel, please, one more chance." But I was done. The love had turned to resentment. I couldn't look at him without seeing the lies. I filed for divorce the next week. It was messy, custody battles, dividing assets, but I fought for my peace. I couldn't tell the full story to everyone, the shame was too much. Instead, I confided in a few close friends and my sister who supported me through it all. Victor pleaded, but I stood firm. "This isn't about revenge," I told him. "It's about respecting myself." I moved out with the kids to a small apartment downtown, closer to my new full-time design job. Eventually, I relocated abroad for a fresh start, a graphic design position in Spain, where the sun-drenched streets and vibrant culture helped me heal. Lucas and Sophia stayed with my parents initially, but now they visit during holidays, thriving despite the upheaval. Life abroad has been a rebirth. I work on creative projects that fulfill me, explore cobblestone alleys, and even started dating again, cautiously, with eyes wide open. I don't regret the marriage entirely. It gave me my beautiful children who are my world. Lucas's curiosity and Sophia's spirit remind me of my own strength every day. But I've learned that love shouldn't hurt like that. Trust your gut, set boundaries, and never settle for less than you deserve. If you enjoyed this story, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Life's too short for hidden truths. Embrace your worth and move forward.